Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverley and it is lovely to see you today. In this video we're going to be talking about the witchcraft books I read in 2021, so grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. I really love booktube. I love watching witches talking about the books they've been reading, reviewing books, going over the books that they want to read, like whatever it is, I just love it. I love taking in other people's knowledge and learning from the people around me. That is how witchcraft used to be taught. Like you would learn from a parent or an aunt or a cousin or your friends. We're really lucky nowadays that we have the internet and we have other witches that we can learn from and grow with here online, and that's why I've shown my whole journey here into spirituality and witchcraft. You can follow the whole journey here in just one playlist. I'll leave a link to it down below. But what really amazes me is seeing the people that I started watching when I was like a new little baby novice witch. They've grown so much in this time as well. And I love that. I love seeing that. And you can see it mostly in the books they're reading. Because a lot of the time when you start out reading witchcraft books, they're just things that you find in the shop. And you kind of just, if it's witchcraft, you grab it. And then when you get more when you get more when you get more into an intermediate level, then you start to specialise down the books that you're reading. And so I thought it'd be really fun to look back at the past year and the books that I read over the year. So we have 15 books to talk about. I'm not going to be going into massive detail with these. A lot of these I made specific videos about, so I will link to that playlist as well. But I do want to say that all of these books will be linked down below. Don't forget, if you're new here, you can click the subscribe button to become part of the butterfly family. We would absolutely love to have you come join us. We have a lot of fun here. We discuss a lot of witchcraft, we play around with vintage fashion, we just have fun, so why not join us? And don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. Do all those fun YouTube bangs. But let's do this. So the first book that I read was Witch Please. This is, sorry, I have my Goodreads down here, so I can, by the way, follow me on Goodreads. Link is down below. So Witch Please, Empowerment and Enlightenment for the Modern Mystic by Victoria Maxwell. This book looks really mystical and magical, and it's really pretty, and I really like that. I'm very much somebody who gets just sucked in by the cover, and I know you shouldn't, but I'm very much like, ooh, pretty. So this book was really, really nice. It's a nice little beginner's book, but I will say that I did enjoy it. It was a really nice little book about how to make a modern witchcraft practice, and it was a really sweet book. I really liked it. I did. I enjoyed it. It gets a tick from me. I did. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was Pagan Portals, Ancestral Healing by Trevor Greenfield. Pagan Portals are brilliant. Go and just search Pagan Portals on Amazon or something and you will find absolutely amazing books. And they're really small little books, but they have a lot of interesting content and they're a great little starter. Pretty sure I read this when I was just starting to think about working with my ancestors, and I really felt like this was a great beginner. It was a great beginner's book. They're really good. Okay, so the next book is an Archangel Michael book, and this is Michael Communicating with the Archangel for Guidance and Protection by Richard Webster. I work with Archangel Michael. He's one of the deities that I work with. I work with two, and I love working with him. It's all about protection. I am very much more somebody that wants to stand up for myself, and I never was that before, so I'm really proud of the work that I've done with Archangel Michael. But this was the first book that I found and read that was just specifically about Archangel Michael when I very first started to think he wanted to work with me. And this was all about communicating with him. I love finding new ways to communicate with my deities, and I think that's why it's really important to read as much as you can. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I think it's quite an old book, 2012. It was first published, but it's just a really great book all about, you know, some of the legends and stories around him, but mainly focusing on how to communicate with him, understand the way he communicates with you. The next book I read was The Elements of Spellcraft, 21 Keys to Successful Sorcery by Jason Miller. And this was me just trying to figure out better ways of being a spellcaster, not just copying things out of spell books, not just reading a spell book and then trying to figure out a way of making it my own, but actually making your own spells. Stepping into your own power is so important, and as you delve deeper into things, you start to realise that you need to deepen your practice, deepen your understanding, and that is a really great book for that. It's a great book for just understanding that you need to deepen your practice, deepen your energy work and things like that. It's just really, really good. I definitely recommend. The next one that I read was Year of the Witch, Connecting with Nature's Seasons Through Intuitive Magic by Temperance Alden, and I loved this book. This came out and I pre-ordered it like months before because I've followed Temperance for a long time. She's an incredible witch. Go and check her out on Instagram and all the places because she's brilliant. But this book was the first book that I really read about the Wheel of the Year. It was the first book that I really concentrated on when it came to the Wheel of the Year and trying to understand like how to work with the seasons again, because in our modern society we don't need to work with the seasons anymore. We're very lucky. We have really good refrigeration and expiration dates and things like chemicals and things that make our food last longer, and so we don't have to just wait for when crops are ready. They're ready all year round, and that's something that's great, but it's not very good if you want to deepen your witchcraft practice and get back in with the seasons again. And that's something that I've really been concentrating on over the last year, and this was the first book that I read about it. It was really, really good, really interesting. Loved it. The next one I read was an elemental magic book, and this is Elemental Magic, Traditional Practices for Working with the Energies of the Natural World by Nigel Pennick. I am an elemental witch, and I very much love working with the elements, working with the seasons. It really calls to me, and I've always wanted to be better at working with these things, and so reading this book was really great. I think it came out and I pre-ordered it. My point is, the minute I saw this book existed, I rushed out and got it because I just thought, this is such an incredible book, I need to read it. And it was good. I think there were a couple of things about it that I didn't love. One of those things was that it's quite dryly written. Like, it didn't excite me. Like, I want excited writing. It was a bit more clinical and a bit more like a school textbook rather than an excited witch talking about the thing they're passionate about. But that's okay, we all write differently, nobody's perfect. Still enjoyed it. The next book I read was another Michael book, and this is Arcane Geology, Michael, Protection and Secret Angelic Codes by Angela Grace. So this book is really good at just learning how to protect your home, protect your space, protect yourself from any unwanted energy. Anything that shouldn't be in your home, you're going to get rid of. That's what Michael is all about. He's all about just getting rid of stuff that doesn't work for you, that isn't right for you. And this felt so good to work with. I really enjoyed this book. The next one I read was Ask Your Guides, Connecting to Your Divine Support System by Sonia Choquette. It's really good about really connecting with your spirit guides and the team that are out there trying to help you. The angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your deities, all these beings are there trying to help you. And it's about connecting and listening, because they don't often just come and talk to you. It's very subtle, little coincidences and little things that you could always say, oh, it's just a coincidence, or oh, it's just the dog barking at a certain point. But if you start to plug into those little messages, then you get to learn a lot. So that was something that really stepped up my game, with being able to pay attention to the messages that were being given to me. Next we have Honouring Your Ancestors, A Guide to Ancestral Veneration by Mallory Voudoir. I really hope I said that right. I really do. Eek. But this book is so close to swearing then. This book is so good. So good. It's really well written, brilliantly by somebody who is not the same faith as me, not the same background or anything. I think they live in like New Orleans or something, and they are a Christian witch. And I think they practice hoodoo or something like that, one of those sorts of religions, like very American religions. And so I was really thinking, I'm not going to get much out of this book. And actually it changed everything. It was so good. Really deepened my practice with my ancestors, really helped me to start to think about how I can deepen my practice and how I can connect with them even more. Really good book. Highly, highly recommend. Very much. Next one is Natural Magic by Doreen Valiente. I'm terrible with names, I apologise. This book is so good. It was really good because it's very much based on connecting with the weather, connecting with the elements, connecting with the land around you, and how to bring that into your magical practice. Beautiful book, very easy read. I think I read it in just like a couple of days, but it was beautifully done. And it's quite an old book. It was like first published in like 1974. So it just goes to show that you have to remember older books will have language and will say things that we don't necessarily agree with now. You know, I don't say things like that. Give them a little bit of grace. But just because it's an older book doesn't mean it can't teach you something, and doesn't mean that it doesn't have valuable information. So I really enjoyed that book. Then I read Intuitive Witchcraft, How to Use Intuition to Elevate Your Craft by Astria Taylor. This book's so good. So good. I love books that are not about a specific subject, but just about deepening your practice and getting to a deeper, more connected space. I think a lot of our time these days is spent on devices and not really paying attention to the natural world. Trying to connect with that again is so important, and I would definitely say that using your intuition is something that is going to elevate your practice so much. Intuition, listening to your guts, opening your pineal gland, all these things, opening your third eye, they're all going to help you with your craft. And whether you are a spiritual witch or an atheist or whatever, that is going to be taking it to the next level. And this was a really good book. The next one I read was Angelic Protection Magic, Banish Curses, Negative Energy, Evil, Violence, Bad Luck and Psychic Attacks by Ben Woodcroft. And it's a very, very small book. It's really, really small. There's not many pages to it, but it is full of intense information just about how to protect your home, how to protect yourself, how to set up wardings in your house, how to set up magical barriers on yourself so that you don't pick up other people's energies when you're going out and about. And again, when you're working with Archangel Michael, they're the things that he brings into your life, just more warding knowledge, more banishing knowledge. And I really enjoyed this book. I did. It was again just a really small book, but packed a huge mighty punch and really stepped up how I protect our home and how I protect myself when I go out. So I would definitely recommend that if you work with angels and you want to be safe. The next one is a Llewellyn book, and you know I love Llewellyn books. This is called Water Magic by Lilith Dorsey, and this is just basically a book of correspondences and things to do with water energy. So if you want to do some water magic or you're just into water magic, I am a Pisces, so I very much am drawn to water, even though I find it terrifying at the same time. But I'm very drawn to that kind of magic, and so reading a book like that full of correspondences of books and plants and herbs and crystals and anything you need to do with water, if you're doing spells or you want to bring that energy into your home, you'll find it in this book. It's brilliant. They've brought out all 4 books now. I have them all, so I might do a video all about those books. If you would like me to do that, let me know down below. The next book I read was The 12 Faces of the Goddess, Transform Your Life with Astrology, Magic and the Sacred Feminine by Danielle Blackwood. I really enjoyed this book. I've said that so many times here, but I did. I enjoyed this book because it taught me a lot about just working with the moon, working with my star sign, working with deities and goddesses in order to bring good energy into my life, and I have started working more in that kind of realm, like working with the moon and working with, I have a goddess that I work with, and so it's kind of introduced, it was like a step into that, dealing more with a goddess, because before this I was just working with Archangel Michael, and he's a very masculine energy. I wanted to work with a goddess, and a goddess was calling out to me, and so I wanted to read a book about that, and it was just a really interesting book. It's a very good book. Then I read Badass Ancestors by Patty Wigington. Sorry. This book's really, really good. Again, it's another ancestors book. It goes a bit deeper than the other ancestor book, Honouring Your Ancestors. So Badass Ancestors is a little bit more like you want to concentrate down your, so I would recommend reading them in that order, Honouring and then Badass Ancestors, but I did really enjoy that. It talked a lot about cooking and a lot about just how to connect with badass ancestors who did incredible things, and how to bring their energy into your life more. Really, really 110% recommend. And there you go. That's all the books that I read last year, and I gained so much knowledge from reading those books. I read other books as well. Like, I will be honest and say I read other books. I love to read like a witchcraft book, a couple of witchcraft books, and then I like to read like a fictional book as well, so there's that. But I like to read a lot. If ever I've got like 5 minutes, like an advert's come on, I'll just flick to a book and read that. I try to read a chapter or 2 a day. Ugh, it doesn't always work out, especially it hasn't over the last week because I've had a really bad headache. But I think as you start to grow your practice, it will grow even more by reading books. So again, I will leave a link to all these books down below so you can treat yourself to a new book. I love books. I love reading. So I have a lot of book content here on the channel. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, you'll probably like it here as well. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to head down below and leave it a cheeky little like down below so I know that you enjoyed it, and I can bring more like this to the channel in future. I might do this next year as well. It'd be quite fun to see what kind of books I get up to reading this year. If you enjoyed this video, if there's any books that you think, oh, after reading this book and this book, she'd like this book, you know, leave me recommendations, all the things, just leave me comments. I love talking to you all, so definitely leave me a comment down below so I can chat to you and get to know you a bit better. And last but certainly not least, if you like my content, if you like my face, don't forget to head down below, click that little subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here Mondays and Fridays, my health permitting. I always do my very best to be here with you every week, twice a week. Take care everyone, have a wonderful magical week, and I will see you next time. Bye!